Does it mean that every single person will take action? No, but your ability to have every single person be like, oh my gosh, this person is speaking to me, it is beyond gold. So key number one of moving the masses is your ability to communicate to people's epigenetic pools. So tell me, my friend, out of all of these songs that I just sang, which one was your least favorite? Oh, I wouldn't be offended. And which one was your absolute favorite? Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Because this section, my friend, is what we call moving the masses. Moving the masses, that's right. And moving the masses is about your ability to, in one message, expand and widen the flavors of people that you attract into your creation. You attract into your idea, you attract into your movement, right? Because what happens is that there's this thing called epigenetic expressions. Epigenetic expressions are based on our DNA. What are our pulls? What are our pulls? Now, a pull is different from a need, a pull is different from a value, a pull is different from a driver. You see, when it's a need, you know people who have needs and then don't meet them, right? They're like, I'm hungry, so then why don't you eat? When it comes to a value, you know people who are like, I'm having an internal conflict because I'm not living at my values. And when you know, with driving, when it comes to drivers, that people are like, hey, I just wish I felt more driven. So if any of these things were the most quintessential thing, then they would, these flaws that I said would not exist, I believe. And so there's a level above that, isn't there? There's above values, above priorities, above needs. There's one thing which really pulls us forward. And when we know this one thing, then we're able to communicate in a way where people feel pulled, they feel called, they feel magnetized to work with us, which is what we want, right? Now, this is what we call our epigenetic pulls. Our epigenetic pulls, based on our biology, based on our DNA, based on who we are born as, our nature, there are certain things that pull us to action, pull us to say yes, pull us into momentum, pull us into movement. Now, if we think about moving the masses, again, we can think of three keys. The first is our competency in being able to speak into all 6 of the epigenetic pulls. There are 6 main epigenetic pulls, and so your ability to speak into each of them fluently, on call, on demand, is really important. So your ability to change, like, oh, okay, this person's epigenetic pull is the need for community, this person is a need for, is the pull for adventure, this is the pull for challenge, this is the pull for connection, etc., 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 right? And your epigenetic pulls, your ability to speak into them is really important. What I mean by speaking them is, you know, if I was selling this cup, my ability to sell this cup to somebody who is called a connector is very different to somebody who is an activator. It's very different to somebody who is a crusader. It's very different to somebody who's a diplomat. It's very different to somebody who's a guardian, and yada, yada, yada. It's very, very different how I would sell this cup of hot water. Make sense? So number one is your capacity and your competency in being able to fluidly speak into and enroll people based on their epigenetic pool. That is number one. From there, ingredient number two is then your ability to pull in and enroll in and magnetize in and buy in multiple sorts of epigenetic pools at the same time. So for instance, if there were a room of 10 110,000 people in front and we were enrolling people into this hot cup of water, our ability to have every single person feel like they were seen, like they were gotten, like they were understood, like they were met. Every single person. Is that too much to ask? No. Does it mean that every single person would take action? No. But your ability to have every single person be like, oh my gosh, this person is speaking to me, it is beyond gold. So key number one of moving the masses is your ability to communicate to people's epigenetic pools. Now, key number two is your ability to do this at scale. So that means your ability to have multiple people at the same time of different epigenetic pools, right? Because you can imagine how efficient that will be, how much leverage you'll have in terms of your time, and most of all, how much fun you'll have because you'll be able to connect with a wider variety of people on a deeper level and make an even bigger impact, and you'll be able to see the momentum building with you having to do less work. So essentially, you'll get more bang for your buck and you'll save time as well, which is always fun, isn't it? Always? Mostly fun, isn't it? So, 1, 2, and then finally, this one is really, really, really crucial. It's understanding the fear patterns based on your epigenetic pool. Understanding your fear patterns based on your epigenetic pool. Because when people are changing, when they're doing something different, when they are having some sort of vulnerability and some sort of risk, then as humans, I'm curious why God laced us with this. Our fear can come up, can't it? Maybe it's the fear of failure, maybe it's the fear of not being enough, the fear of losing resources, the fear of losing reputation, the fear of whatever it might be, the fear of the way that you're seen. And what's really curious is that based on your epigenetic pool, it will give you really good clues as to your response to coping with that fear. Some people, they get really aggressive. Have you ever noticed how some people just ghost you, or they beat around the bush, or they try to avoid the topic? Whereas in other people, they are a lot more penetrative and they get angry and defensive, and it's like they stonewall you and you're like, well, what the hell happened? This person was so sweet and loving, and suddenly they're cold, they're as cold as ice. La 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 la. Right? Other people, you can tell that they're not telling you what they really feel. You can tell that they're telling you what you want to hear. And so your ability to be able to understand, this person is currently in their fear response, and this is how I invite them to perhaps exit that in a healthy, sustainable, conducive way. And this is how I invite them back into, what's the word? Equanimity? No, can use it. Into resourcefulness? No, into more openness. Into more openness. Because as you know, people can shut down. And when a person shuts down, they're this likely to listen to what you have to say and actually action it. Sure, you could force something into it and quote unquote manipulate them, whatever that means. But in terms of sustainable change, sustainable adoption, sustainable buy-in, which is what we want, right? It's so important that we're able to proactively help people prepare for when that fear comes up and how they can move through it healthily. And then also in a responsive manner, how we're able to quickly and smoothly and really lovingly and compassionately dissolve that fear and help it melt away so that when they look in the mirror, they're really proud that they were able to journey through that fear, take the lessons, and just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Far. Da, 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 da. Do you have anything else to say? Yes. So let's clarify. Key number one is we have your ability to communicate as per people's epigenetic pools. And guess what? You're going to have to be able to identify them as well, which is really important. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Number one. Number two is your ability to speak on scale to multiple epigenetic pools at one time. And then number three is being able to speak into, no, what's the right word? Being able to lead people through their fear in a really safe, loving, conducive, and human way. And sometimes that does require a bit of heat, but there are about 2 specific contexts that is the most optimal approach. Otherwise, it can have a higher cost than benefit, if you think of it that way. So let me ask you this: if all it did for you to, by you mastering this, what we call moving the masses, the 3 keys, if all it did was allowed you to have more people buy into what you have to say in less time, then it'd be worth it, right? To master this area. So what are you waiting for? Let's have some fun and let's figure out of those 3 areas, ask yourself, number 1, which one do you feel is your current strongest area? Number 1. Number 2, where is the biggest room for growth? Number 2. And my favorite question, number 3, which one sparked your interest, sparked your aliveness, sparked your spark the most? Because, as you know, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. We're gonna have so much fun together mastering this, aren't we? Mwah.